Breaking news now on CBS 2 News at 11, an active shooter situation on the Las Vegas Strip.
We can have those policy conversations, but today is not that day.
We can have that discussion at another time.
It's just not the time.
It's premature to be discussing.
I just don't think that that's an appropriate time for this to be happening.
This is not the moment for that.
Luckily, we film our show a few days after it actually happens.
A few days after it actually happened.
A few days after it actually happens. A few days after it actually happens.
A few days after it actually happens.
From the best news headquarters in the world, this is Breaking News, a recap, with Wesley Newfarmer and Jessica Pratt.
Good evening and welcome to Breaking News, a recap. I'm Wesley Newfarmer and I'm joined by a woman who commands attention and isn't any less deserving of respect just because she's a... Wait, what? Did you write this on the teleprompter?
Did you have 3 gin and tonics for lunch?
Well played. On with the news. Since our last episode, we saw the 1,000th mass shooting occur in the US in 2017.
Is that number true?
It's closer than you'd think. Instead of harping on each specific shooting, let's take a more broad approach and give you the information you need if you want to call your congressman, advocate for change, or just shut up your right-wing frenemy on Facebook. Leland.
The US has 5% of the world's population, but 50% of the world's civilian-owned guns. That's just too many to stay safe. If we were talking about cupcakes, yeah, bring it on. In fact, anything positive. Croissants, eclairs, turnovers, macaroons.
Are you just listing pastries?
I'm really hungry. But look, to recap, you have too many guns.
Most politicians are not interested in having a real conversation about guns. Those who are, talk about small things like clip sizes, gun show loopholes, and bump stocks, whatever the hell those are. These tiny suggestions are only effective if they're part of a larger plan. Alone, they're necessary, but ultimately insufficient, just like my high school education.
Some often say criminals will commit crimes no matter what, so laws are irrelevant. Sounds good to me. Let's get rid of all the laws. Speed limits, food safety regulations, child labour laws, the legal definition of murder, parking in handicap spaces to make my Christmas shopping easier.
The US has more guns than cars, so we wondered what it might look like if getting a gun were like getting a car.
Good thought, Wesley. To show us what that would look like, let's cross to the breaking news pantomime troupe.
Hello, sir. How can I help you today?
I would like to get a license to operate a gun.
That's fine, sir. Before we allow you to operate a
Gun.
there are a few things we need to do. First, we need to check your vision. Only people who pass the eye test can operate a
Gun.
Next, you will need to pass a written theory test. It is a big responsibility to operate a
Gun.
and we need to make sure that you understand the rules and conduct yourself appropriately. Now you need to do a practical test. I need to make sure that you can operate the
Gun.
properly. You will need to be tested to know how to operate your
Gun.
safely for yourself and others. Congratulations! Here is your
Gun.
license.
Gee, thanks!
Whoa! Not so fast there, fella. This license will only last 5 to 10 years. You will have to make sure you come back and renew your
Gun.
license. Also, if you are caught not being responsible with your
Gun.
we may take that license from you. Also, you can only operate your
Gun.
with this license. Anyone else will need to come and get their own license and then be registered with an insurance company to use the
Gun.
Finally, your
Gun.
will need to be regularly inspected to make sure it is still safe to operate. We wouldn't want you hurting yourself or others because you didn't get a lock fixed. Enjoy your
Gun.
and be safe.
Now, Wesley, there is something that makes the US different from every other nation on Earth.
American exceptionalism.
Not quite.
Cookie dough on a cone.
Nope.
The American version of The Bachelor.
Your Second Amendment, which states, "The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed."
Yes, Jessica, it does say that. And it's a good thing we don't have an amendment that encourages us to read Or else we'd see the first part of that sentence. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, for those of you who don't know what a militia is, it's kind of like an army. And at the time it was written, our biggest threat was the English. Well, here's some breaking news. They aren't coming back, and the folks who do want to destroy us now want to do it with nukes. So good luck stopping them with your arms.
If you think there isn't any problem with the number of gun-related deaths in the US and you're content to sit there and do nothing, then you're no better than the people pulling the trigger. Consider yourself an accessory to murder and hand yourself into the nearest cop. And if you're lucky and white, maybe he won't shoot you.
Well, that's all the time we have and all the news there is. If you liked our show, please share amongst your friends. If you didn't, maybe this will help.
I have to tell you goodbye.
Join us next week when we won't sound so smug about everything, Xavier. That's that guy from Egypt.
Yeah, it is.